Hey everybody, welcome into the Hive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. And today we have Everard with us today. And welcome in. How are you doing?
Okay, considering LLC. As we were talking earlier, sad news of a friend of mine and a friend of the whole precious metals world. Jim
Yeah.
Forsyth is critically ill. It's looking serious. So it's been an up and down day, but I can hear him telling me just get on with it. So we're getting on with it.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, we'll keep him in our thoughts, that's for sure. I was just hoping to get him on my channel. So
I know. We were just making the introductions.
Man, oh man. Well, all right. And I guess since we're on bad news subject, I just heard my brother fell off a four-wheeler and broke his lower back and pelvis. So sometimes you're just going along in life and something happens like that and completely throws you off your game, but you just never know, huh?
No, we just need to be more thankful for being fit, healthy, and
That's
air
it.
to breathe. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Neil's Han Dynasty, welcome in. Happy Tiger. Good to see you here. So on the other side of the things, boy, we had a move in the metal since the last I talked to you.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we were going to have a battle for 24.5 on silver, and now we're 25, just above $25 on the live charts. So that's a dramatic move. I'm not sure what's caused it.
Up through 25 just today. What we were low 24 a day ago or something, and now we're 25.
Yeah,
about $1 or something. Yeah,
gold is still holding around its near all-time dollar high. Yeah, we're at 21.76 live.
20. Say that again.
21.76 on gold.
On gold, yeah. Okay. It jumped up and it's holding in there too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think palladium recovered some ground because that had been a bit beat up.
Yeah, yep, indeed. Platinum's still hanging down low, still a good option, I think anyway, to try to get in on.
Yeah, palladium 1,067.
Yeah, yep, back over 1,000. I actually had to pick up a gram just so I can try to keep a better eye on palladium because something to do. But yeah, it was what do you think about palladium? I don't know that I've asked you about palladium.
Similar properties to platinum. I think the auto industry switched over to palladium as a catalyst because it was a lot cheaper at the time than platinum. They didn't check how much palladium was available, and I think some smart hedge funds got tipped off and front run them and bought up, and that's when we had that run up, didn't we? To nearly $3,400 an ounce on palladium.
Wow. Yeah. So small markets can be even more volatile over there, huh? Is that?
Yeah. And I think that's eventually what's going to happen with silver, being such a tiny market. It's been easy to suppress and manipulate, but it'll be hard to control when it does break free.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm not, here where we have an all-time high in gold again, in US dollars, and US dollars being kind of the top amongst the fiat currency. It sure does that bring more of a light to it, you think? Just kind of, I would think this last little jump would really bring a spotlight onto it.
Yeah, I mean, the press talk about gold a bit. I mean, I don't generally follow the normal news channels, but yeah, if gold keeps at this pace, it's going to be interesting week or two going forwards.
Yeah, indeed. That's what I'm thinking. If gold can hold this new high, which it seems to be doing, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be quite positive for silver as well, huh? I mean,
Oh, more than that. I mean, a good analogy I've heard used and I use now is silver's attached to gold with a very, very thick, very, very strong bungee rope. You can stretch it, but it'll snap back at a surprisingly fast rate.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and I'm kind of got me a little bit excited on the silver side of things. I mean, you want it to stay low to pick up, but I'm personally so tired of the manipulation of everything. Of course, not that everything will go back to normal after silver jumps up, but just one more step that I've been watching, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess we know this, but it's just I was thinking it's kind of funny that really the safest place to put your money or your fiat is in probably silver, the most undervalued. I mean, being it's undervalued, it's going to be your safest bet, and it's got the most upside, right? I mean, it's just
Yes.
for the fruit.
A very asymmetrical situation, even with this couple of dollars increase we've seen in the last couple of weeks.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's not that far above the actual all-in sustaining costs of a silver miner.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I just heard that First Majestic had to shut one of their small mines down, silver mine, and we're already having deficits for the past 3 years, and more and more uses for silver. So I don't see nothing but asymmetrical upside from my point of view, and it's the most safe thing. It's money.
Yeah, and it's still at the moment it's private.
Right. Everything you could want. It blowing me away that's the case, and it's so unknown. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about? I heard that the COMEX was bought by China. I don't know if I heard that anyway. And also now that China has their own, what is it, the Shanghai Exchange or something?
Yeah.
And that there's an arbitrage going on from east to west. Do you think that's happening, or is that just talk? Or
yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen that there's silver is more expensive in China than it is here, which is a surprise, isn't it? So even retail buyers are paying a lot more for the same product, even after doing the currency conversion. So we're still fortunate being able to buy in dollars and have lower premiums than they have in China. That seems impossible, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, interesting. All right, and I wanted. I was gonna jump over. So last time you were up here, I think it was a month ago, about now or something. We looked at the debt clock. So, I don't have it. Let me get this debt clock opened up. I want to look at it. So you were saying, so Vladimir was saying 20, or what was it? Keep going here. So 33 trillion. Putin was saying, okay, the U.S. debt is 33 trillion, and then when I had you on, you were saying it was 34. I was saying 34, and you're like, no, it's 34.25 now.
It's probably getting on for 35, I guess.
And that's what I said last week. If it makes it to 34.5, then I mean we're starting to see an exponential rise here, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean we've had a run of presidents, and each one seems to manage to double the debt. Yeah, so that is definitely an exponential. 34.5 trillion and rising.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write that down. So last time I looked, it was 2 weeks ago. It was like yeah, it was maybe 300 or something.
And that's I mean, it seems a scary number, but it's not. It's the unfunded liabilities that are the scary number.
Okay.
Because I've heard figures of around 120 trillion that the US government has promised to pay out, but it hasn't got. That sort of dwarfs the national debt. And if there's any sort of index linking to those obligations, you can't inflate your way out of the debt. If that debt was just debt, not future debt or future responsibilities, we could just carry on debasing the dollar, and that 34 trillion wouldn't really mean much. We would owe it in cheaper dollars.
Except for the debasement of the money, right?
Yeah, by creating more and more dollars, you pay back in virtually $3. So if it was just if just the national debt was the issue, I mean, it's not. I think only 1 or 2 countries have survived after reaching 120% debt to GDP. Japan as being one of them, but I don't think Japan's going to survive much longer. So we'll be the only country who's so far survived with this debt ratio. But because there's so many dollars out there, we can keep on creating more dollars, and it doesn't as dramatically affect the dollars in the US because it's taken a bit of the value of the dollars worldwide.
Yeah.
So our dilution, although it's bad, it's not as bad as when China creates a whole load more yuan. And I think from what I've seen, their debasing is 3 to 5 times worse than ours.
And can I ask you, does their value further? I mean, I realize they themselves are debasing their own currency.
Yeah.
But does their currency also devalues as ours is devaluing? They're kind of getting a double effect there.
Yeah, because they're sharing. I mean, the world shares the devaluation that the US does, because was it 83%, I think, of all world trade is done in the dollar.
Yeah, that's what I heard, over 80%.
And it looks like it's ticked up recently a little bit.
And that's why their price runs so fast in gold then too. I mean, they're getting hit.
I think there's probably just a retail demand. I think probably the Chinese people who've got any spare fiat currency are trying to buy real things with it, because numerous banks have stolen people's deposits, and if the people turn up to complain or protest, the Chinese government sends in tanks and riot police. So I'm not sure that would happen here, because they'll just keep creating dollars to bail out the banks, because I think the banks or the owners of the banks call the shots and control the government in the US.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there between the banks and the Fed, or that that's kind of could be.
Just seen Wade's comment there, our economy is already dead. I think actually from what's going on in the rest of the world, there's a lot of capital is fleeing to the US, and I think we're going to see a lot more manufacturing. I mean, I've heard some commenters saying that the US is industrializing at a faster rate than even after the Second World War. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm guessing the figures will have to show that commercial premises, warehouses and stuff, their value should be holding or rising if that's the case.
So yeah, let's touch on that since we're there, and I heard that over 80% of trade is still done in US dollars worldwide. Yeah. And I know we both agree, that the dollar's on its way out, but when I talk about BRICS, a lot of times I notice that a although you agree, that it's happening and whatnot, you don't. I seem to get the feeling that you don't put as much emphasis on.
No, I mean,
is
BRICS. I mean, yeah, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and all the other countries that are saying they're going to join. They don't trust their own currencies, let alone other countries' currencies. The only currency in that group that's relatively, very stable is the Indian rupee. They don't want to They don't want to tie their currency to currencies that are falling.
Yeah. I mean, they'd have to go to gold, but
if they went to gold, well, then wouldn't the rich people in the West just buy all the gold?
Well, yeah. I mean, then that's kind of what I'm wondering, and I'm not sure that's not going to happen. Like, we're seeing that arbitrage going on, and it just makes me wonder: do they know that the gig is up, and that's what the game they're playing, and we're over here playing a paper game, not paying attention?
Yes, and in a way we can afford to, because the dollar will die last. I didn't used to agree with Brent Johnson's dollar milkshake theory, but it's been proven right.
Yeah.
Well,
even he believes that eventually gold is where we'll end up. So it's all just kind of a timing with him. And yeah, he's saying, well, the dollar is going to be stronger for longer than some of us that are thinking. And so far, like you say, he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, and then the dollar, on the most basic of monetary principles, the dollar only has value whilst you can buy gold with it.
Right. That's what I think a lot of people maybe don't notice, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And as the price of gold in dollar terms rises, that means it gets harder and harder to buy gold with the dollar, especially for modest purchases. So if we keep see gold going up in dollar terms, it's the writing's on the wall. But I think we have a privilege here that the currency collapse,
that we are the strongest of what we have.
The dollar is a rubbish currency, but it's the least rubbish currency.
No doubt for sure. Yeah, I mean, we do have the benefit on that side. However, this last pop-up, I think is going to be a pretty good, like I say, I think it's going to put a spotlight on things, but we'll see, I guess.
And eventually, LLC countries will have to prove what their gold reserves are at some point.
Yeah. And what's your feelings on?
Well, I used to be convinced that the US hasn't got it. It's 8,800 tons at West Point and Fort Knox and wherever else it's supposed to be stored, because it's not had a proper audit. Was it 1951 or 19? It was the 1950s that last had a so-called proper audit. But I don't think the financial people who are actually in control of this country are that stupid. I just wonder if all the wars we've been involved in, one of the reasons wasn't just to go get the gold. In Iraq, we were told it's weapons of mass destruction. Well, what if that weapon of mass destruction is gold? Because gold is a weapon of mass destruction against fiat currencies eventually. Right. So that might have been what that war is about.
Yeah, and that's what that was kind of the final piece that they grabbed, right?
And I would bet 100% that Iraq hasn't got as much gold now as it had before the US got involved.
Right. No doubt.
Same with Afghanistan, the Philippines, and who else? Who knows elsewhere? So we could, as a nation, have a lot more gold, and
that's the one thing that I see that actually, I mean, this is a horrible thing to say, but that's the one thing that actually I seen as kind of could be positive. That I know that we've taken large sums of gold from those places when we've left.
And I know this is complicated, and I don't want to jump too fast from subject to subject, but we had 4 or 5 decades of globalization, and it was US policy to allow free trade everywhere on the presumption that would stop war. So the US built out the largest navy ever seen, and it's still by a factor of 10 larger than the next largest navy,
Wow.
to enable global free trade. Well, from what I see, the US is withdrawing from that. The sanctions on China just keep on growing, and the tariffs, they keep on growing. They're being enforced. We have the semiconductor bans that are growing. Looks like we're going to turn TikTok off pretty soon. We turned off Huawei in the US. I think the US is retreating into a trade alliance of just a few countries. And if you look at the US, the geography of the US, we are food sufficient. We're food exporters. We are net energy exporters. We're probably the only nation on earth that can do everything easily that it needs to do at home.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Yeah.
You know, and I think compared to other countries, we actually a very small percentage of our economy is importing and exporting.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So since we're on that, let's talk a little bit about in some of our private conversations, and you don't, share what you feel and not otherwise, but you talked about coming to this country, and in some of our conversations, all in some out of frustration say something, and I kind of noticed that you kind of bounce back on the other side of that, and so I want to hear more about, because I was born here, and so now how I view the U.S., I'm a little upset as who we're becoming, but I was born here and I've grown up here, and so for you coming over here, what's your perspective? And you seem still quite positive, is where I'm.
I am. I mean, on a historical timeline of nation development, I mean, you could say the US is 15, 16 years old. That's a difficult age. So I'm hopeful that we have more than a core. I think we have a silent majority of good, honest, decent people in this country.
Yeah.
Now, maybe my experience with building the bullion business, meet a lot of people, get to make a lot of friends. Yes, that's a select community for sure. But it feels everywhere I've traveled in the US that the bulk of the people want to lead an honest, decent life. They have normal aspirations. They might want to have a home, build a family, be able to retire comfortably.
Yeah, well, that's the American dream, right? And that's fucking shaky, but you still have a positive outlook on that, and somewhat anyway.
Yeah, I mean, sort of going back, you look at the agricultural area of the US. We have the best agricultural land in the world. I think we have 16,000 navigable waterways for bulk moving agricultural and industrial products and materials around, which is incredibly cost efficient. I think that's more than the rest of the world put together of navigable waterways. So just the geography of the land should lead to success. It's just, I think, somehow we need to encourage people that the American dream isn't dead. It's harder.
And it
seems less accessible. But I think of all the countries on earth, I mean, you look at how many nationalities are trying to get here. Whether by legal or illegal means, that's sort of a sign that it's not a bad place that people are trying to get here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Neil, I agree. America is the best country in the world. Yeah. Neil Hahn's dynasty.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's good to hear, and it's good to when you got here, you were still excited to be here. You still have excitement.
Yeah.
And I mean, I obviously am hoping for the best, but I just get a little frustrated because I know, I've looked into, what we were supposed to be and what we're what they're teaching is obviously two different things. But
yeah, I mean, there's the old saying, isn't it? I don't even know who coined it in the first place, that hard times breed strong men breed easy times breed weak men, and you go back round again.
yeah,
Undoubtedly, for 4 or 5 decades, America has prospered without, after the Second World War, it was the only nation left standing with any sort of industrial base. So therefore, America exported and did well. But through the distortions in the monetary system, it still was it. The US exported 14,000 tons of gold, keeping gold fixed at $35. So if that shenanigans hadn't gone on, I think the situation would have been much, much fairer.
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, who owns the gold makes the rules, isn't it? Eventually.
That's what I've been told. Seems to be what it looks like through our past history, anyway. So
Yeah.
and even them coming out and declaring it a tier 1 asset, and they're buying it up as fast as they can get a hold of it, and definitely. Well, I'm sorry, but you definitely know it's the real underbasing of reality. Now, what they try to feed us or put in as a smokescreen could be two different things, but.
Yeah, and that was the Bank of International Settlements, wasn't it? Declared gold as a tier 1 asset, with the only previous tier 1 asset being US debt.
Yeah.
Like, well, we know US debt's not tier 1. It can't be. You're never going to get your principal back. Oh, here we go. Tiger Stacker's got the original quote up. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And background we go. So, yeah, I guess there's no easy route through. We've had good times. We've created, I don't know, can you blame the population? It's easy to blame, isn't it? But it the powers of the media and the television and all the nonsense we get from our politicians.
Yeah,
they get people fighting against each other, expending their energy without noticing what's actually going on.
Yep.
So I don't think you can blame people. I mean,
right.
I think it's our responsibility to keep helping people understand what is going on and do what they can do to prepare.
Here.
Yes, Wade Wheelington. Keep on stacking. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, what's this say? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's switch gears here a little bit, and let's talk some osmium. What's new with osmium?
It's selling well. I'm excited. I'm going to the Osmium Symposium in May, so that's going to be awesome seeing their new headquarters. So Ingo Wolf, the founder, and Scarlett Klaus, the vice president, they've been working 18 hours a day for 10 years to get this far. They've done an incredible job bringing to market the 8th and final precious metal in a beautiful form. So I'm excited, looking forward to that trip. Lots more interest. I see Space Miner. I did a little mini video. He received his first piece.
I have not seen that yet. I gotta go check that out.
I asked him to wait to look at it in full sunlight, but he couldn't wait. So you can get it on a cloudy day, and it's still sparkling.
Oh boy, I'm sure. Awesome.
So yeah, that's an exciting journey. And I was talking to a new client today, actually, and I was saying, oh my gosh, how amazing would it be that if all the smaller purchasers brought it all up before the really wealthy people start buying it?
Right.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh, man.
Because it's the new gold in a way, isn't it? It's a gold rush to be able to have access to this that we've not had access to before.
For sure.
See some. Here's a little. Where's my camera got? Sparkle grade.
Oh yeah, look at that. Woo, and just natural. That's just in-house light. So
That's in-house. I can put on the 5000K flashlight. Ooh.
you get it out in the sunlight. It's crazy. So yeah, so how's it looking in some of these other countries they're putting it out in? Is it being received?
Yeah, I mean, the Europeans had a head start. I had a French gentleman come in the store a few days ago, and he'd heard all about it in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So they've had the opportunity to they've been buying it for nearly 10 years.
Yeah, so he did he have some?
He's seriously considering buying some of the 70,000 plus investment discs as compact wealth storage. So
Nice.
you can move it across borders, without any questions.
Wade Wellington, you have a pickaxe like I do in the precious metals box there. A silver dragon's pour. That's the prototype right there. In fact, I got a video coming up with a little bit about that here shortly. But yeah, okay, so very cool. Yeah, so other countries are
they're way ahead.
yeah.
But we'll catch up fast. My plan is, God willing, that the US will be the largest market.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me, but what are you, is that just where are you getting that from? Just thinking about it? What's your...
I think the potential is there. I mean, there's a history of wealth preservation in precious metals, which is way larger than we think, because a lot of people are very private about it. I mean, obviously I can't reveal anything about who my clients are, but I'm surprised at the number of people who've been putting wealth away in precious metals for decades.
Okay.
And they've not been discouraged by the ups and downs,
They're aware of they're aware of what's...
Yeah. I got one close friend in Texas, and he says, when the government took silver out of money, that told me that I should be buying silver, and when the government suggests that it's a bad idea, I mean, at the time when on the last 90% silver, I think the president or somebody high up in the government actually said, don't even bother front running by trying to buy up, stash all the silver coins, because we'll crash the price of silver. So ever since that, he said, if the government's telling me not to do it, it's probably a good idea to do it. And it's and it's just a brilliant way of saving as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have a friend who's in his 60s. He said, all my life, I've never had more than a few $1,000s in savings. But he's been steadily buying a bit of silver. He says, I've never had this much savings in my whole life.
Well, I'm in the same boat as that guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it does make you reevaluate what you spend on. And we all have that hunter, especially the guys, that hunter-gatherer instinct. You've got to go out and, it used to be go hunt for your food and your firewood and whatever. And so, that nature is still in us. So there's something about, isn't there? I mean, having a lump of silver.
For sure.
The tangibility of it, the weight is,
I not to bring this up now, I just think that there's even more to it than maybe we're realizing as well, because there is something about it, and it happens to pretty much everybody that you drop it into their hand. It kind of, like everybody says, it changes once you hold it in your hand and you see it, and so there's something about it. But here I wanted to answer Gerald Draper saying that square. What's that retail for there? I think.
Oh, now this one. Are you on your computer? Can you type in this number? Tell you what, anybody can, if you go to identify osmium.
I'll pull it up and we'll share a screen. Identify osmium.
This hasn't got a QR code on this piece. I'm borrowing this piece from the Osmium Institute, but you can put that, go into identify osmium. It'll have a box to put the code in.
Okay, hold on here.
It's a beautiful piece. That I forgot I'd borrowed it. It's a lovely Sparkle 5. So it's really big crystals.
Yeah.
If not, we could always do a smaller piece.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing the
page. Do this piece. So this is
oh, here we go.
You found it?
I think so. Okay, so yeah, check your osmium code. Okay, so
can you read the code?
Let me hold on one second. Let me just share the screen with everybody so we can all see this together here. Bear with me, guys.
So if you put that code in, let me balance so I'm not shaking around.
Okay, so the code is F-BFQ, all capital.
That's an 8.
Oh, okay, 8. I missed that. F8. FQF
dash EK87.
Okay. Yeah, there she be. Let's see. Are you guys seeing? Yeah, you're seeing it. Okay, so
yeah, click on the picture of it, LLC.
Okay.
And then you can expand the picture to show the high resolution. It should open up.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So that's quite a heavy piece, isn't it?
Wow. So this is and so you can take, guys, just to identify your piece, you can just use a regular camera, right? And just snap a photo of it.
Yeah.
And it will match up with this piece because there's no way you're going to get that same code in any other piece. So awesome. That's cool. All right. Now, how do I? Not able. Oh, okay. Anyway. Okay. So that's that piece. What if? So what I'm thinking, I'm thinking to just try to buy a piece off of you live right now, and then I can sell that piece live later on one of my auctions, and we'll document this whole process kind of so people can see.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
See how the code gets transferred and how you take it and whatnot. I've already bought a piece. You guys know about that, and I do have the code. And so if I wanted to sell it, I would have to go in and adjust that code. But I'm not going to sell that piece because that's my wife's piece that we're having put into some jewelry. But yeah, so that everybody can follow along on the process. What do you think about that, Ian?
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to look through my chat right quick here. Let's see. Let me, all right. Well, let's just, since I'm behind in the chat.
Oh, Space Miner is in.
Oh, is he? Hello, Space Miner. Welcome in. Yeah, do you have a piece nearby, you think, around the $100 area? Well, I'm reading.
So we've got, that will be one of the uppercase letters. So yeah, an uppercase I.
Boom. There you go. That'll work for me.
Yeah, I think these are pretty good because they got lots of applications. Oh, better not drop it.
Oh, the Trident cut. Yeah, that was awesome. That was nice, Gerald. There are some really nice pieces. There's going to be some amazing jewelry, I think. And there's people. In fact, Neil's Han Dynasty is coming up with his own. He has some ideas, and I think there's several people who are excited to come up with some ideas for it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Don't lose that. All right, well, let's do it.
I will find that later. That's
all right. Well,
that's in my Hinge laptop. So.
Right, you can just send me your keyboard.
Yeah, we'll shake it out.
Awesome. Well, let's go through the process and let's buy that. What was the price on it? And
sure. So this, most of the boxes have a QR code.
Okay.
So I'll go the easy way rather than entering that in. But it's great having the alphanumeric code as well. So if any reason the QR system wasn't working, you can still. So we've just got that, and we've got the current net retail value. Let me see. Tell me if that is that showing up clearly or.
Yes, it's yeah, just hold it still there for 1 second. 89.
59.
Oh, 59.13. Okay.
Yeah.
59.
What is cool on the app on the phone, you can pull up the picture and enlarge it. So that's an magnified.
Let's put it. I got this page open, so let's just do that again with the give me the code and I'll have that piece and we'll show it on the screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to take that code down can do the same and see how the system works.
A-LK3E-7XAL. Cool, there it is. All right, so let me share my screen. And voila. So there she is. Okay, so this is showing 5405 here. That's
in euros.
That's in euros. That's probably why. How do I change that? Anyway, okay, so that's it. I don't know how I changed my to dollars, but not a big deal.
I think we're about 8-9% at the moment, roughly.
Yeah. Okay. So you have my code and you can run that or my banking information.
Okay.
Let's run that, and then you would send me the code.
I will send you the piece, and I'll send you a 6-digit change, what's called an OCC, ownership change code.
Okay.
And that can be to any email that you give. They they request an email and a valid phone number.
Yeah, so I was excited to find that out. And again, why we're buying this piece is just I'm going to sell this on my site so that everyone understands the buying, selling process and how it works. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting this piece and then turning around and selling it. And so when you buy the piece, they send you a code. And well, they send you 2 codes. One code is just the code for the piece itself, its identifier. And then the other code is a code that gives you access to their, how would you explain that, to their website where you can go in and click a button that says
you can change. Not only can you change ownership, you can also add possessor. So you can still own it, but somebody else can be looking after it for it, or your jeweler, goldsmith could be making a piece with it. So you can register them as the possessor, but you still stay the owner. So there's a real security in the whole system. They thought it through carefully. What if people are getting multiple pieces made into jewelry? You know, mistakes can happen, but at least you can prove, no, this is my piece.
Right. Okay.
And the range of shapes and sizes is over 250 from 2mm squares right up to 4.5-inch discs. They got shapes, got animals. So they've got a reasonable range.
Yep.
Oh yeah, thanks, Neil. Yeah, 1,500 times more rare than gold.
Yep. And so yeah, so so you get that in, you have those different options. Like you say, you can even give it to someone that has where you lend it out to, say, Ian, for him to sell it to you. You can click that button that says you're loaning it out for some dealer to sell it for you, or you can say that it's up for sale yourself.
Yeah.
And then, so if I'm going to auction and I put it up in auction and someone buys it,
yeah,
I'll just click that over, and then we can do the transaction. And then then it would be the Osmium Institute that would send them the new code, wouldn't it be? Or how would that work?
To the email that's linked to the existing ownership code. Yeah.
Right. So then I would be out of it after you buy it. You would then receive the ownership code from the Osmium Institute directly. So
yeah.
And we're doing that right now. So I bought this piece right here that we're looking at. It's a uppercase I or a bar.
It's actually in my laptop, I think. So
and
it'll come out.
And so once he ships this out to me, I'm going to be having it in one of my upcoming auctions, perhaps next week's if it all pans out. Or
I'll see if I can't get it off to you tomorrow.
That would be awesome. And then and here's nickel stacking. So nickel, this little piece up that you see right here, I just purchased from Ian, and we're going to hopefully get it to me by next week's auction, where I will be putting it up for sale, and we will show how the whole transfer of ownership goes. This piece is so hopefully, I'm going to be up in next week's auction. So
can you expand the picture, the first picture on the block of free pictures? Does that expand?
Let me see here.
Can you click on that and blow that?
Boom. Wow, look at that, guys. That is just beautiful. Oh, that's so cool. And then, so guys, you can just take this and set it on your counter and take a picture of it like they did here. And it will. So how would you do that, Ian? You would go to their site, probably Osmium Institute, and submit that picture and let them scan it. Or how does the scanning by picture work? Do you know?
So they keep on file every piece they cut. They cut it, they weigh it, they check the quality, they write the description, they write down the sparkle grade and the weight. So that goes with high resolution 2D photographs and also a 3D scan. So if for any reason a piece did get separated from its ownership code, a high quality picture, they'd be able to find it on the database by visual recognition.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So all you would need is a regular, just like an iPhone photo today of it, and it can be identified if need be that way as well.
Yeah, it is easy to recognize, sort of points of contact like a constellation. And I think I saw a comment there, unforgeable. So I know we've mentioned before, but in case anybody new, catches this, every square millimeter, so for an imperial measuring about the size of the tip of that pen, has 10,000 more recognition points than a human fingerprint.
Craziness.
Oh, that's the 3D scan that you brought out there.
3D imaging of it, huh?
Yeah. And every facet of each crystal, you can keep going down as more and more recognition points, the angles of intersections and basically each crystal is formed at layers of hexagonal planes. And that's why it reflects the light so well straight back at you. And
this little piece of
that little piece, yeah.
little piece of unique code
Yeah.
belongs to me right now.
Yeah, it does.
And to you, if you're here in my upcoming auction next week, hopefully, and you can have your own uniquely coded, most inert, most rare precious metal on Earth with probably the safest code security that I know of, I suppose, huh?
It's multi-layer, isn't it? So you've got the visual appearance, it's the highest density element, so you can't cheat, substitute anything anywhere in it with a less valuable metal or alloy because it wouldn't have the correct density. It's got that visual security. It's got an alphanumerical code. You've got the QR code, and you've got the database at the Osmium Institute with the ownership code.
And you have wealthy family offices investing in it.
They are buying multi-million-dollar boxes of the stuff. Yeah.
And it's a secure way to trade, if you think about it in that way. And you know what's cool? I was thinking in the other day was, I was kind of satisfied when I received that code in the email, but it's not going to be nearly as satisfying as when I get the piece in my hand. Yeah. And that's something that's definitely different. Now, this is a unique code and identifier and blah, and Bitcoin, you can, but all you're ever going to receive is digits of something that you're never going to hold that way, which, I'm not even going to go too far down that. But I was just thinking, this, you get the exciting parts when you get it in your hand or you put it on your, in your wife's jewelry or, I don't know, just an amazing product.
Yeah, some of the pieces, in my opinion, incredibly affordable still. I mean, we've got these heart shapes.
Let me get you up on screen here.
So you can get a lot of sparkle. This is a finer sparkle grade, so it's a thinner piece. So the advantage of that is these start around $140. So you've got a near ready-made piece of jewelry. It doesn't take a lot to edge that or bond that to a stud, we need into a design.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of scale, that's let's try and get them at the same.
Right. Yep.
So the finer sparkle pieces, you get a fair bit of surface area, because it's a bit scary when you see a rectangle like that and it's $3,500.
Right.
But that's because you can see the thickness if you look at the edge.
Yeah, high sparkle grade. So a high sparkle grade means the crystals have grown a lot bigger.
The process has been run longer, so the crystals grow bigger. Yeah, and build up the thickness. The whole thing is pure osmium all the way through. They state it's 5.9.5 pure fine minimum. So it's incredibly pure as well in the crystalline form.
So now when I was making a video, I think I actually said at some time and in some way like crystallized form, but is that proper to say, or should I say in a crystalline form? Because it is actually...
the Institute calls it osmium. I like to call it vapor crystallized osmium.
Crystal. So you call it crystallized. So you're okay.
Vapor crystallized. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is in a crystalline form, so that's correct as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
but the process is a vapor crystallization.
Sure. Okay.
They have to heat it to over 9,000 Fahrenheit to get the osmium into a vapor, and then coax it to crystallize in an even way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So,
seeing the bears in the background, they do a bear as well. So he's pretty cute. These are going to do well since we have brown bears, black bears, grizzly bears, and now we have osmium bears.
Awesome. Let's take a look. We're already almost to an hour, so let's take a look at any new products that you have or any deals you got going on in the besides this osmium.
Sure, interesting. We were talking about this earlier. This is the new Britannia Liberty. So you can see Britannia with her trident there.
Yeah, I definitely eat some of those. Those are awesome. I need to
And
get
then
some.
there's Lady Liberty with the torch. And then Love Him or Hate Him, we have King Charles III on the back. Well, actually on the front. So that's a 1 ounce coin. It is a business strike, but it's incredibly well done, very deep, very sculptural.
Almost proof like on the reverse proof like.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, one more. Sorry to interrupt. One more thing. Gerald Draper, decentralized rare asset. Yes, that's it's a whole nother. It's the eighth of
Yeah, that's a key point. It is decentralized. It's the Swiss company that mastered the process of the crystallization are a natural monopoly. They have no competitors, and they're definitely not government owned or controlled. And the Osmium Institute are an independent private company. They're the only company that wholesale and retail it. And at the moment, we're the only US retailer.
Yep, you're looking at the first retailer in North America right now. So,
that's a key point. There's no bourse, so there's no market manipulation of the crystalline osmium. As far as I'm aware, there's nobody manipulating the raw osmium. I think that will also continue to gain in price as because a key thing, once it gets crystallized into this form, it's not going to get recycled and go back to raw osmium sponge.
right. It's not like
it's going to stay as an investment piece. It's going to stay in a piece of jewelry, or it's going to get cut up and made into pieces of jewelry if it's a bigger piece. It's stuck there for the rest of human history. It's just not going to get crushed back into a powder, then recrystallized, because you would lose all of the effort and the added value.
And like he said, it's going to be the last thing standing because it's the most inert. It's the most
inert element.
Resistant. Yeah. And so there's no aster alkaline that's going to eat this thing away or scratch it or rough it up. That's amazing. And Gerald Draper, these are not the proof like coins. This is a business strike on the Liberty Brit. And what were you looking at for those, Ian?
I think Gerald's not far off there at 25 spot. Yeah, we're hovering around the $30. Yeah, but it definitely is a proof finish. I mean, I've got MS70 special proof, and I would say they're no finer detail than that.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, obviously MS70 is perfection, but I haven't looked at this under a microscope, but it looks pretty perfect to me.
Cool. All right. So what else you got going there besides the Brits?
So we have 2023 maples, very good premiums. I think we're the lowest in the US on 2023 maples. We have 2023 King Charles Britannias, which are slightly cheaper than the maples even. We also managed to get an allocation of the 2024 kookaburras.
Nice.
Which I absolutely love. Even the king doesn't look too bad because he's a lot smaller, and it's a nice frosted background on the kookaburras.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. Yeah.
So this outside, they come in a capsule. They're individually packed at the mint.
Nice. OC Stacker asks, are they having any milk spotting issues, those Brits?
I haven't seen it since about 2019, similar time that the Royal Canadian Mint, and obviously they probably do communicate. Technically, you know, the British monarch has ultimate say, I guess, on the mints. It's interesting. So no, I've not had any issues on Britannias from 2019. In fact, I've not seen it on many at all, even the back dates. So I presume it still is a humidity issue. Although I've heard of some rounds, people have had new rounds and they've had milk spotting on.
So. Well, so I've heard that it's from the that they use a type of detergent on when they rinse them off, and I'm hearing that it's the detergent that doesn't get rinsed off. Right. So, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
right? That's what I heard. All right. I think we're at an hour, Ian. So let's. I think I'm going to wind it down. What do you have? Any last words for the people before we get out?
Just hold, please, Jim Forsyth and his wife and his children and family. Just hold them in your prayers and thoughts. Jim has done exceptional work in the precious metals world. An incredible guy, a get on and get it done guy.
He's someone, I don't know how many people here know of him, but like Ian says, he's really big in the precious metals world, and he has his own YouTube channel, Citizens for Sound Money. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, he's chair of Citizens for Sound Money. Yeah,
and they've done a whole lot for.
They've traveled the nation helping different states in the legislation to get passed for sound money changes. Had numerous successes, so they've been key to date in helping that process.
Yeah. For sure. Will do. All right. Stick around with me for just 1 second, Ian, and we'll say goodbye here to everybody. Nickel stacking, Tiger, I'm going to get with you here in just a bit. Gerald Draper, thanks for coming in. OC Stacker Spokane, good to see you. And everybody else that was here, thank you so much for coming in. We will catch you guys. Let's see what's the next thing I have coming up. I believe is Spin and Bin Saturday, and then I have a interview with Son of a Silver Stacker on Sunday. So that's going to be a good one. Make sure to stay tuned for that. And we'll have Ian back in a couple weeks, and Aaron Burke on for a talk about ancient coins coming up this month soon. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go, and thanks so much again for stopping in, guys. Kane Friday, good to see you.
Thank you, everybody.
We will catch you guys on the next